What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. I want to get started. I just want to send my condolences to the Golden State Warriors and more specifically to the family of their former assistant coach, Dejan Milojevic. He unfortunately passed away a couple days ago. Apparently, he had a heart attack with only 46 years old. Gone too soon, and rest in peace to him. That's why Golden State's last two games were postponed, because they're still unfortunately grieving from his loss. So rest in peace to him. On a lighter note, Pascal Siakam was traded to the Indiana Pacers the other day. So Siakam, the Raptors star power forward, goes to Indiana. Going the other way to Toronto is Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora. They got 3 first-round picks. They got Indiana's first this year. They got a first million this year's the lesser of like between 14 and Houston, the Clippers, and 2 other teams, and they got a top 4 protected first from Indiana in 2026. So Indiana's gonna at that point will probably still have Halliburton, Siakam, and Miles Turner. I doubt they will have a top 4 pick. So they get 3 firsts. On the New Orleans Pelicans were also involved. They sent Kira Lewis Jr., one of their guards, from a top 10 pick. They sent him to Toronto, and they sent a second round pick to Indiana. I thought this was a really good move for Indiana. Now you put him in Halliburton. That's a really scary duo. You keep Miles Turner, who's a really good center. I think him and Siakam fit nicely together. Siakam said, outside of Kevin Durant, Miles Turner was his dream teammate. Just when it comes to fit on the team, they still keep Jarace Walker, who you took in the first round this year in the lottery. So he's still young. He's still kind of coming along. You have to keep him. And we're actually going to invite Sean Jarrett onto the mic. Sean's been on my show before. We'll see what he has to say. We're on Talking Sports with Jake, talking about the Pascal Siakam trade. What's up, Sean?
What's going on, Jake? How you doing?
I've been all right, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Good to hear from you again. I want to get your take on last night's game between the Bulls and the Raptors.
Yeah, that was a good game. I remember I saw Toronto was up by a point with like 2 minutes left, and then I checked at the end of the game, and I saw the Bulls went on a little run, and they were able to steal the game.
Yeah, they looked pretty good last night. I gotta say, although it was a little bit too close for my liking. Unfortunately, the Bulls did pull it out, but they let them come back and get on the run. And what about that game from Scotty Barnes? Scotty Barnes put on the show last night. He definitely put on the show.
Yeah, and with Toronto trading away OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, they've basically telling him this is your team now. That's who they are building around.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a good nucleus, hopefully. But do you think it's too early to tell, or do you think could it be something that could be developing down the line?
I think Scotty Barnes could develop. I think he'll develop into a great player. They got a couple pieces back in the trades they made. They get back Emmanuel quickly and RJ Barrett from the Knicks. They get don't get a ton of players back for Siakam. Bruce Brown. I do like Bruce Brown. He plays both ends. Great defender. Jordan Nwora, I don't think will help much. But Kira Lewis, look, I haven't liked what I've seen from him. I don't think he's all that good. But he is still young. He's a young player they can evaluate. Maybe they can get something out of him. They get back. They'll have their first round pick will be high. Will be probably top 7 if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have Indiana's first this year. They're probably gonna have 3 firsts this year. They'll have the Pistons second round, which will probably be the first pick in the second round. So they have a lot of draft picks this year as well.
Yeah, I kind of like that deal that they did. But speaking of the Pacers, what do you think about that trade for Pascal Siakam?
I think that's a good move for them. I think it puts them. I'm not sure if they're a Talkin town yet, but him and Halliburton together, I really like. You still have Miles Turner, and you still have Jarace Walker. You have some other young guys there, so I think it's a good move. They, from their perspective, they didn't give up a whole lot. You give up Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and the picks. When you're a playoff team in the NBA, giving up first rounds isn't that big of a deal. Very rare you find the all-star player outside of a lottery. So I think that was a really good move for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, if you watch the group we in, I say that's a huge move because it takes you got Pascal Siakam who's a scorer, and then you already have a big man who can stretch the floor, and then you also have
Yeah.
Halliburton, and if they bring back Buddy Hill at the
Mm.
after the season's over with, they have a nice little nucleus.
Yeah, they got a nice corner. You also have a star point guard in Halliburton. Now you got a star big man in Siakam. You have another good big in Miles Turner. And you have other young pieces like you mentioned, Buddy Hield, Drace Walker, Aaron Nemhard. They got a nice little team, Indiana.
Yeah, and it's a young team that could develop it to be probably something big if they develop them right.
Yeah, and I look at the Eastern Conference. To me, it's pretty wide open. Boston's the only true team that you can really count on, though in the last couple of years they've been kind of appear to be the team, and they came up a little short. Milwaukee's really good, but they struggle defensively. The Knicks are still putting the pieces together, though I do like what I see from the Knicks. The Sixers have played well, but they've come up short in the playoffs in recent years. Now you have Indiana, so it's really anyone's game now in the Eastern Conference, really in the NBA.
Yeah, but let's talk about last night's game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Memphis Grizzlies. What was your takes on that game last night?
I didn't catch that game, so I'm just gonna pull it up now. I will say, man, the Grizzlies have had a really tough year. A lot of injuries for that team this year.
Yeah, definitely.
So I see that the Timberwolves won, and Anthony Edwards had a big game. He had 28. He's turning into a star, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, he's developed into a go-to score for the Timberwolves. And then you got to factor in he has a nice nucleus around him with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert,
Hmm.
and then that's putting them three pieces around him. And they get up nice. But then you got Nasri who came off the bench for him and had a pretty decent game as well. So that's not a bad team right there.
Yeah, they got a good squad. You got obviously Anthony Edwards is turning into a phenomenal player. Towns. They had a tough year last year. You know, came out of the plan, but then you obviously lose in the first round in 5 games to Denver. But a lot of the reasons were Karl Anthony Towns missed a lot of time last year. Gobert, I didn't think had his best year. He had some issues. There were some issues in that locker room, but Anthony Edwards has come out and completely broken out. Towns has been healthy. Gobert has played like the guy he was in Utah. It appears those locker room issues, they've put those to bed. You have Mike Conley who's played well. Jay McDaniels has always been a great defender. He's added some offense to his game. They got a really good team. That's why they're the best team in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah,
For now.
for now, Oklahoma State's right there. Denver, obviously, with Jokic and all those guys. They're the defending champs. And to me, they're still a team to beat in the West, if you ask me. But Minnesota is
Right.
playing very, very, very well right now.
Very, very well. But that's that's about it. I want to get your takes on that. How are you looking for this weekend's game as far as NFL wise?
Yeah, I talked about that the other day. I'm very excited. I think Houston and Baltimore will be a really good game, as well as I think Bills Chiefs will also be a great game. Those are probably the two big games I'm most looking forward to. I would say.
I definitely agree with that. I think that both. If I'm a bad man, and I was telling somebody this last night, I will put something on that Baltimore Ravens Houston Texans game. Even though I feel that Baltimore might win it, that's going to be a very good high score game, especially with two young quarterbacks in C.J. Strauss and Lamar Jackson. But
Yeah.
also, I wouldn't be surprised to put something on that Bills Chiefs game because that's a rivalry game
Yep.
that dates back a couple of years. Uh, so you might want to put something in there too because simple fact you got Josh Allen who's coming off a heck of a game
Hmm.
in the division round, and then you got um, Mahomes, who needs to prove something that he still has it, and that team that has struggled with the Chiefs. So I feel that that's going to be another game to watch out for too.
Yeah, and like it's not like I'm not excited for the Packers Niners games and the Bucks Lions game, but those two games are big because you got the Ravens obviously are the best team in football, but get the Texans are coming in hot. They obviously got the young hotshot quarterback in Stroud. And the Ravens, are trying to avoid another playoff disappointment. Then Bills Chiefs, that's gonna be a phenomenal game.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, if I was a betting man, I would definitely put some money on both of them games.
Mm.
Even if it's anytime touchdown with Lamar Jackson, C.J. Strauss, passing touchdown, and probably the totals.
Yeah, with Josh Allen, he's obviously been inconsistent throughout the year at the turnover, but like you said, he played great last week.
Yeah, and I feel that that's going to be probably something you can watch out for because it's even though it's this Tennessee Chief team who struggled with their offense, that defense have tried to keep them in games. So, and the issues with Buffalo's defense has had counter of injury. So, that could be a big factor too.
Yeah, they got a couple of guys out on defense. No one big. Like Taylor Rapp is out. They got a couple of backups out, so their depth isn't great. The defense has played really well all year. The main issue has, for the most part, has been Josh Allen and the turnovers, and just not having a legit number two option outside of Stephon Diggs. Obviously, James Cook's turned into a really good back, but Gabe Davis is not really anything special. Khalil Shakir hasn't really come on until the very end of this season. Kincaid's pretty good, but still a rookie. Dawson Knox isn't anything special. He was hurt for a while. But yeah, they're playing really well right now. The defense has really played well all year, but the Chiefs' offense, obviously on paper, we know you have Mahomes, Kelsey, but like you said, they've had their issues, and then with the drops and the core receivers is not that good, but they've been able to hold it together for the most part. We're still to win their division. Obviously, they beat the Dolphins last week, and now they have a shot against the Bills.
Yeah, they definitely have a shot, but I wonder which team will show up for this game between these two teams. Will the Buffalo team that showed up last week show up this week, or will it be the Chiefs who have been great down the stretch leading up to the Super Bowl show up and win this game?
Yeah, that's a good point, Charlie. Both teams, you never know what version you're going to get. The Chiefs could be the same old Chiefs with Mahomes and Kelsey. They got a good defense, and their receivers hold up, or will be the Chiefs team that has a lot of drop passes and has some uncharacteristic turnovers. And on the other side with the Bills, when they're on, they're one of the best teams in the league. They can score if anywhere. They got a great defense, but at times, they make stupid mistakes, and Josh Allen turns the ball over. So, if we get the best version of both teams, that could be a game in the year. If not, it could get a little messy, and it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it will be very interesting.
All right, Sean. Is there anything else that you want to talk about today?
Nah, that's it.
All right, Sean. You're welcome to hang out if you want, or you can dip. I'm gonna just I'm gonna go over to talk a little bit of football with some coaching stuff. So if you want, you can hang around. It's up
Yeah,
to you. All right,
yeah,
so I want to talk about Bill Belichick. So the Falcons interviewed him again. So they already interviewed him. He's got a second interview with the Atlanta Falcons. The first interview was just him and Arthur Blank, the owner. Now he had like a big interview with everyone involved. I'm sure that probably meant the GM, and I'm not sure who else they had in that room, but apparently the Falcons actually flew him out to Atlanta this time, and he is their top candidate. And I think they're gonna have more meetings today. So keep your ringer on because it's looking like Bill Belichick is going to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. So we will.
and somewhere I gotta interrupt, but
Okay.
somewhere New England fans are like, no, because they had the upper hand up in Atlanta Falcons fans place when they beat them 31
Yeah.
during the Super Bowl. So
Oh yeah.
now it seems like the team is turning.
Yeah, it's funny that of course the Bill and the Pats came back down 28-3 against in the Falcons against the Falcons in the Super Bowl in 2016. Now Bill might be going to the other coach. That would be part the turn of events, but he appears to be the favorite in Atlanta right now.
Oh, the irony.
Other stuff that happened, we got the Chargers interviewed Mike Vrabel. I'm sure he'll get a job somewhere. Mike Vrabel appears to be a candidate for a bunch of jobs. He's obviously a really good coach. I'm surprised Tennessee let him go. The Chargers gave him an interview. Got the Bears interviewed Cliff Kingsbury for their offensive coordinator job. Cliff right now he's the quarterback coach at USC. You got the Bears have a number one pick, and there's a lot of speculation that they're more likely than not to trade just Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams. Drop Caleb Williams as the first pick, and Cliff was his quarterback's coach this year, so maybe that makes it more likely.
That makes no sense though, but
I don't think it should happen, but that might be the angle they're taking.
I digress on that because either way, they have to build around the quarterback and they have to fix that offensive line, which is struggling.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes no sense of bringing a rookie quarterback in. You barely catch lightning in the bottom twice. The likes of a C.J. Strauss coming out of college can come in and play the pro system the way he did. I don't know about Caleb Williams just yet, being that type of quarterback.
Yeah, here, Sean. I just remember that you're a Bears fan. Let me ask you this: what do you think should happen? Should they keep Fields or should they draft somebody else? What do you think they should do?
I think they should build around the Justin Fields because Justin Fields is a veteran quarterback who's shown that he can play this system, but the offensive coordinator was not helping him, not building around his strong points. And that's what made him fall. And then you have a struggling offensive line who has some strong points at times, but the connection between him and DJ Moore was excellent for the season. And I hope that they build on it. But yeah, they had some strong points and they had some weak points. That defense came out and played very smart during the season. But if they decide to move on from Justin Fields, I know it's Ryan Poles is the GM and he wants to bring in his type of guy, but it influences.
Sean, you still there? I'm not sure. We might have lost Sean, but what he was saying is that he thinks the Bears should build around Justin Fields, which I'm kind of torn on. I think that's what's gonna happen. I feel like from what I'm hearing, they're leaning towards moving him. But to me, if I'm Matt Eberflus, the head coach, and GM Ryan Poles, they appear to be on the hot seat. I mean, we thought Eberflus might get fired after this year. They decided to keep him. Poles obviously hasn't had any success since going over there. They may look in the mirror and be like, if we don't make the playoffs this next year, we might get fired. Do they want to go into it with a rookie quarterback who's going to struggle? Or do they want to go for at least, a guy of a little experience who has the potential to be really good in Justin Fields? By the way, Sean just left my Twitter space that he was calling into, so I'm not sure if he'll come back or not. May have had some tech problems, but he just came back in, so I'm gonna invite him back on to the mic. He's a good person to have for this because he's a big Bears fan, so it's good to get his perspective on it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, but I totally agree with what you were saying, but with going with a rookie quarterback and being on a hot seat, I would definitely not take that chance of putting a rookie quarterback in there and trying to build a system around him, knowing that he may struggle the first year, especially adapting to the NFL game. Yes, there are some quarterbacks who come in and can be like a one-generation type quarterbacks, but I don't know. He's very young and he can bring probably a lot of pop to the team, but you have an offensive line who's struggling, a young defense who's developing well, but you got to put weapons around him that's going to make him better.
Yeah,
It's all that way.
the receivers he's had have been bad. Like they brought in DJ Morrissey, who's obviously really good. But Darnell Mooney isn't anything special. Obviously, Claypool was horrible. I ended up trading him away to Miami. I like Cole Kmet, but he never really had much of a run game. Khalil Herbert was hurt a lot. He didn't really have a good year. Roshan Johnson, not anything special. The line was terrible. They didn't really play well defensively till the end of the year. To me, I didn't say, oh, it's been 3 years, and he hasn't shown enough. But he played well down the stretch. Maybe not in the Green Bay game, but you know, his numbers may not look great, but he really hasn't had a lot to work with. The play calling hasn't been good. Luke Getsy was a terrible offensive coordinator. That's why he lost his job. So they're
Yeah.
looking for a new coordinator. If it are up to me, I'd probably I'd try one more year of Fields, add to that offensive line. Maybe bring in another weapon. Maybe add another weapon or two. Add a piece or two on defense, and see what you really have in this kid.
But see, the only thing about that is if they do decide to go with Clinberry, I don't like his coaching staff because he was a terrible coach with the with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, he was not
That's
good.
why he got fired.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He looks okay as an offensive coordinator at USC, but he's unproven. I would rather go for somebody that has a proven record as an offensive coordinator and that they can develop Justin Fields into a quarterback that can be that next level quarterback.
Yeah, I totally agree. He was not good in the NFL. He really wasn't that great in college. Like he had Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech and didn't win that many games. He didn't have really a defense, but Stable Dew was not good with Pat Mahomes at Texas Tech. He was not good at Arizona. And maybe I'll take him as an offensive coordinator at the college level. But I'm not even sure if I would take him as an OC at the NFL level because the offense he runs, the air raid offense, it doesn't really work in the NFL. But it didn't work in Arizona. So I don't really know if that even makes any sense for the Chicago Bears.
I don't see it making sense for the Bears, but the Bears gonna do what the Bears gonna do.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I gotta love them either way. That's my
Oh yeah.
hometown.
Yep. But yeah, so that's where the Bears are at. Something funny that happened. So Cam McCormick, he's a player on the University of Miami. He's returning to Miami for his final season. It's his 9th year playing college football. That's great. Nine years in college. That's crazy. It was one thing when you had Stetson Bennett, who is obviously he the guy who committed to Georgia. Was like was like the 6th or 7th, and then transferred, then came back, and then beat out a 5-star and JT Daniels, and obviously got his shot, and now he's in the NFL. But and he was 25 years old when he left Georgia. Bo Nix is a little bit older. He's been on a bunch of different colleges. I know Oregon he's coming out this year. Michael Penix, he's a little older. He was in Indiana for 4 years. Now he's this year he had a breakout year at Washington. He's coming out. But this kid, Cam McCormick, I've never heard of him. I think he might be a tight end. 9 years in college? That's crazy. So you tell me you think when you graduate high school, what, 18? So he's what, 27, 26 years old? That's wild.
Yeah, but you gotta factor in some of that may have been COVID related.
That's what keeps happening, I think, for a lot of these guys, because the COVID year, didn't count for some guys, I don't think.
Yeah, and then if you have like an injury,
Mhm.
they might give you an extra year. I think that's how that might have turned out, but
Yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it probably something like he had the COVID year. He probably redshirted at least once, if not twice. He may have gotten injured once or twice, so that year didn't count. And now and nowadays, you can get waivers for extra years. So this is becoming slightly not uncommon, which it's weird having a 26, 27-year-old guy. Most dudes 26, 27, they're either they're already a couple years into their career. For an athlete, they're already obviously they've gone pro at that point. But with the COVID year and with the transfer portal, that's why you see some of these guys 23, 24, 25 years old, still playing college ball. And obviously, in this case, Cam McCormick's going back for his 9th season in college. That is crazy. But only a couple more points I want to make. Ohio State has hired Bill O'Brien as their offensive coordinator. That I did not expect. He of course was in New England last year as the offensive coordinator, and he will be going to Ohio State for the same position.
Well, that's gonna be interesting though. If you look at it, I don't really think he did too bad in New England.
Hmm.
I think that's the writing was on the wall.
He didn't have very good personnel in New England
Right.
this past year.
So I'm kind of excited to see what he does in Ohio State.
Yeah, like I didn't think he was great in Houston. He was okay. Obviously, what really got him fired was his work as a GM. I thought he was great at Penn State. He took over Penn State when they were in that tough position when all this stuff happened. And then they had been banned from being in the bowl game, and he took them over in a tough spot, and got them, and kind of took them, got them out of that tough spot, and he left them in a good spot after he left. Then he went to Houston. I thought he was okay in Houston as a head coach. Then he went back to Alabama to be the offensive coordinator, and I thought he did a pretty good job there. And then, of course, he was the OC in New England this year. And obviously, the results weren't great, but he didn't have a quarterback there, didn't really have a lot to work with. But at Ohio State, I'm not sure what the offense is going to look like. But Ed Buka's coming back, and their number 2 receiver for this year. I'm sure the Trevion Henderson is coming back. They're running back. They just brought in a better quarterback in Will Harris from Kansas State. So maybe he looks at it like this, like, all right, I'm not gonna get a head coach job after his offense scored was one of the worst offenses in the league, and he may not even get an offensive coordinator job. Probably didn't want to stay in New England after he was passed up at a head coach job for Gerard Mayo. He was like, let me go back to college, go to another big name college where they'll have a lot of talent. Let's command a good offense, and maybe next year or the year after he can either get an offensive coordinator job or a head coach job in the NFL. It's probably the route he's taken. Yeah, he's next offensive coordinator of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And last but not least, last point I'll make before we're going to close this thing out. The Dallas Cowboys are keeping Mike McCarthy. There was a lot of rumors he was going to get fired after that embarrassing first-round playoff loss to the Green Bay Packers this past weekend, but he's staying in Dallas. My take on it is I don't agree. I don't think he's that great of a head coach. In 13 years in Green Bay, he had prime Aaron Rodgers, only went to one Super Bowl, which he won, but a few times he didn't make the playoffs. He's never really been a good play caller to me. That being said, Dak Prescott's got to go. He's not the guy. It's been 8 years. He's been 2 presidential terms with this guy. We know what the guy is. He's just not the guy. He's terrible in the playoffs. To me, I'm not sure if it would have mattered if who the head coach was, if Dak was there. So if they're gonna run it back with the both of them, I don't really understand what they are really doing. But if they're gonna move on from Dak, okay, maybe you tell McCarthy, okay, you didn't have the quarterback. We'll get you a new quarterback. But if they're running it back with the both of them, that doesn't make any sense to me.
But see, here's the point about that, though, Jake. You gotta figure out this might be McCarthy's last ride in Dallas if he does not improve.
He's in the last year of his deal. It's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, you got to factor in what are they gonna do in this year's draft too? Because
Yeah.
the combine is gonna be very interesting for Dallas. What piece are they looking for? How are they going to develop? You got to factor in that they did have some injuries during the playoff run too. So
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. We'll see what they do. Jerry Jones in the past, he's usually a little more patient with his head coaches. He's been the owner 35 years. He's only fired a coach within 4 years twice. Now it was Chan Gailey and then Campo. Every other coach has gotten at least 4 years. I mean, a lot of times when you hire a head coach, they get either a 4 or 5 year deal. In the past, he likes them. He usually gives them time to at least play out that contract. So he usually gives them 4 or 5 years. So this will be, 2024 will be McCarthy's 5th year there. He's in the last year of his deal. If I had to guess, they probably will not extend him. And they'll give him one last year. I feel like we've seen this for 3 years now, almost like Jason Garrett 2.0. Like every year, I was like, oh, this is his last attempt to prove it. He didn't, and they kept giving him another chance. But yeah, if I had to guess, next year if they at least win a playoff game, he'll be gone. but you never know with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. But that's my guess.
Yeah, I agree. But who knows? With Jerry Jones, you can never estimate what he's gonna do as far as a head coach. I mean, as an owner.
Exactly. But that's all I got for you guys today. Sean, thanks so much for coming on. Pleasure as always. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.